All right, we'll call a meeting to order. Roll call of board members.
Microphone.
Roll call. Denise excused. Angelina's here.
Here.
Jim, Holly, and Maria.
Here.
Here.
Okay. Public input, up to 3 minutes per citizen to discuss any item that is within the committee's jurisdiction and that is not on the agenda. Call meeting to order. Anybody?
Donna Mackwitz, and I'll talk real fast. Dawn Miller from the SPCA of Lake County is seeking volunteers. She has a Facebook page. Okay. Okay, now can you hear? Louder?
Okay.
The SPCA of Lake County, Dawn Miller, is seeking volunteers for the pet fix. You can't hear?
Jurisdiction, and that is not on the agenda. Anybody?
Okay. Okay. If you're interested in volunteering for the free pet fix, they're looking for volunteers for all shifts starting at 6:45, 3 days out of the week, and she has a Facebook page. It's located at 8025 Highway 29, and the phone number is 707-279-1400. There's an adoption day on June 7th from 11 to 3, and they do have an Amazon wish list. And Maria Schrader's Facebook post mentions the Clear Lake Oaks Dump Day here at the Moose Lodge on 5/31 from 8 to 1. Debbie Sousa in the Keys is planning a June feral cat roundup, and she's looking for volunteers to set traps, drive to and from the vets, and bring the cats back after. And she also needs help with outreach and appointments for bookings. And her phone number is 510-589-8942. Moving on to the Schindler Creek Watershed Restoration Grant. It was submitted to Fish and Wildlife last week, and we have three new supporters that have signed on. Dr. John Parker from Wolf Creek Archaeology, and the Sierra Club and the Rotary Club of Clear Lake. I have MOUs. If anyone has a property that adjoins Schindler Creek, please see me and fill out your name and address, because we will be moving forward on that. And if anybody needs koi for their pond, see me. I have someone who would like to share their koi. And then we still have fishing bin, recycling bin collections. If anybody has extra time and wants to help adopt a fishing bin at a boat ramp, see me. We'll be doing a training. And did I do that under 3 minutes? Yes. The dump day at the Moose is 5/31, and that's no? Saturday.
The first is the last Saturday, and then the first Saturday in June. It's 2 weeks, Saturdays.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Sterling. I am back again to talk about Spring Valley. I don't know if one of the committee members is for Spring Valley or not, but another major concern, and we're going to keep it going until we get something done about it, is the bridge over Old Long Valley. I'm not going to give up until something is done about it. I called the Yolo County Flood Control, and they're letting out a big amount of water for the first half of this year only out of Indian Valley Reservoir, due to that they need to drop the level because there is damage done to our spillway. So once again, another reason why we need a bridge to get in and out is because we live in a subdivision of 30 plus homes, and it is mandated by the state of California that you guys are supposed to have another way in and another way out. We do not. Not only do we have the fire danger in Spring Valley, now we have the danger of the dam possibly giving out if California doesn't allow Yolo County to get up there and fix our spillway. And then another thing I would like to ask the committee, I don't know if you guys can do this or not, is that we need help with special districts. We have been fighting this water thing. We had a 218 that Spring Valley did, I think as a community came together very well and stopped it. turned around, standbys got put to normal. So standbys are actually paying more for water than people that are actually using water. And when we called Robin to turn on some standbys, we were told you cannot turn on the standbys now because you don't have a house or a permit pulled out. I have the Board of Supervisors hearings where she stated that any standby could be turned on at any moment, and that's why they could vote in the 218, and then turned around and changed it after it didn't pass. And to be honest, a lot of us Spring Valley community members feel that Robin Bore, the head of special districts, is retaliating against Spring Valley as a community because we stopped her 218. And, you know, I speak with a lot of people in Spring Valley and we need help. I mean, we've gone to our advisory board. Advisory board's been going back and forth with Robin. We're not getting no answers, and I'm gonna come here and ask you guys if you guys can help us. Standby is where you can have your water not turned on. A lot of people in Spring Valley, before they put in the new moratorium in Spring Valley, meters were only like around 5,000. To buy a meter in Spring Valley now, you have to pay special districts $28,000 to have a meter put in. So this is what we need help with in Spring Valley. Special districts has completely made us their cash cow. And we're gonna start putting complaints into the grand jury and stuff, but I'm here speaking for a lot of people in Spring Valley. We need help. So if you guys can help us, that'd be great.
Sterling, could you give one of us your contact information before you leave after the meeting? Okay, thank you.
Hi, Julia Carrera. I live in Upper Lake, but I am a candidate for 3rd District Supervisor, and on June 2nd, a year from our election, we are having a campaign kickoff, and I want to invite all of you in Lucerne. It's going to be in Lucerne. I have flyers, and you're all welcome. We'll have music, food, vendors, raffles, a cookie decorating booth. It will be lots of fun, and we hope you'll enjoy join us. 3rd District
Text me if you
Supervisor.
can hear me.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Julia, real quick, was that June 2nd or June 3rd? June 2nd. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on. We need to approve minutes from the October 2nd, March 5th, and April 2nd. Need a motion on the floor.
Okay, we can't do the October 2nd because
Oh.
it was Denise, you, and Maria were the only ones present.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. We can't, can you hear that? Okay. We can't approve the minutes from the October 2nd again because only Jim, Maria, and Denise were here that day, so we'll have to skip it again.
You
Three of
can-
us are again.
So we do March 5th and
Yes.
2nd?
But you want to,
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for March 5th and April 2nd.
I'll second the motion.
move and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Item 5, our guest speaker, Lake County Code Enforcement Marcus and staff. You're the staff, huh? All right.
Ask Tom.
Was that the introduction? Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Beltramo. I'm the manager of the Code Enforcement Division for Lake County. Is this good for the audio guy? All right. So I've been asked to come and speak to your group here today. Your committee here has given me a list of questions to address, or questions that they had and they wanted some information on. And then I'm also here to promote our free dump day. We're doing a free dump day on May 31st and June 7th. Metal, tires, furniture, wood, no paints, no hazardous material, no needles. Household garbage is accepted, so we're going to be doing it right here at the Moose Lodge. So I'm not sure, We appreciate the Moose Lodge for working with us. It's going to be right out here, 2 weekends. Bring your trash, dump it for free. There'll be a whole system that we have in place. You just come around, we direct you to the piles, and then you dump them. This is part of a Cal Recycle grant and code enforcement. So code enforcement saw an issue. We have a trash issue, we have an illegal dumping issue. And what we said is, a lot of times we go to people's properties and they say, well, what do you have to offer me? What assistance can you offer me? Well, code enforcement doesn't offer assistance. We're here to hold the property owner responsible for what they have caused. They are the causation. In lieu of that, we said we need to do something. So we went out, got a grant from Cal Recycle, and we're putting that grant to work. We've identified 42 properties in the county that we normally would not be able to abate due to limited funding. We now can abate those properties. On top of that, we did 2 free dump days in Nice, 2 free dump days in Lucerne. Big success. 90,000 pounds, 120,000 pounds, and last week over 175,000 pounds. And that was at the castle. A lot of, yeah.
Nice, great.
Yep. Supervisor Crandall was there as well. He did help out. He participated in the Nice days as well. So he brought some volunteers in to help us. So not only do we just wait for you to bring your trash or your stuff to us, we have people that will go out to help those that have limited accessibility issues or disabilities that can't do these things for themselves. And we loaded it up in our trucks and we brought it to our dump as well. So we're doing this in a multifaceted way. We're trying to really help out. And also for code enforcement, it gives us a base case. Your property's clean now. Now we know what it looks like. Now if it gets worse, we know we have an issue. Also, part of the grant is to put in preventive measures. So we're working on preventive measures. The Nice Hills, we've already cleaned some properties up there. We're going to Lucerne. Mountain View is the big one for you guys, Mountain View Road. And so that's the next one we got to clean up, but we got to find a way to keep it from getting dumped on. It's a repeat situation. It's always dumped on. I don't know how many of you have been to Mountain View, but that is the worst case in this county. We're talking a road that is just basically trash all the way down. So it's up on, was it High Valley, Little High Valley? Yeah.
Just High Valley.
It's a bit much, so we're going to get that cleaned up. That being said, I guess I'll just start addressing some of these questions that you're.
Can we talk about the dump days just a little bit more?
Sure.
While you're on that topic. Okay, so what I understand is besides Mountain View, you're also going to be addressing Stubbs at the same time because it kind of like goes along.
So so we are addressing Stubbs and Mountain View. It's really kind of one area if you really think about it. One leads into the other. They kind of intersect there. That's kind of your main dumping area for the Clear Lake Oaks proper area. So Stubbs is part of that. I believe we identified those properties. My code supervisor is actually handling this whole grant. You got one person doing all this work, which is unbelievable. That just shows you we're maximizing our staff resources. But Stubbs, I believe, is part of that grant. And I think we sent you some information on the properties along Stubbs that is involved with that. So
no, I did not get that.
Oh, you did not get that?
Yes, and I also understand that Grand Junction down here is part of it, and also Sulphur Bank Road.
Grand Junction, always been a habitual dump spot. They come back there, there's no lights, there's no one to see them. They just get back there, they dump there, they leave. And Sulphur Bank, that's always been a dump spot.
And I guess my next question would be, are you going to be doing this cleanup on the same 2 days, or is this something that's going to just be in a month? Yeah?
For the 42 sites that have been identified, including Junction, Sulphur Bank, Stubbs, and Mountain View, those will be done separately. So right now, we're starting on the Nice Hills. We're going clockwise around the county through Middletown, back up through Lakeport. Lakeport has one of the bigger sites on our list. It's right into, it's in North Lakeport, so that one's going to have to be our last one. But we'll be coming all the way around. The dump days are independent of those site cleanups, so we're kind of hitting we're hitting it from a multitude of ways here.
Okay.
Cleaning up properties, dump days, and then defensive measures, preventative measures.
And basically, I just wanted to reiterate what I thought you said. Anybody can bring any of their trash that's allowed to this free dump day thing. Okay, now from what I also understand, you are trying to solicit volunteers to have trucks and things so that if there are people in town that are not able to drive or bring their trash there, we can have volunteers go by and pick up their trash if they've put it in bags at the top of their driveway or whatever.
So I hate to tell you, Holly's much better at this than I am, obviously. She's got this down. She's absolutely right on all of this, but she's correct. We are taking on volunteers if you wish to help. We do have county employees and staff that will also help. Supervisor Crandall secured, I guess we have a semi-pro football team that's coming to Lake County. Yep. So they've offered to help, and they've been helping, bringing their trailers and going out to properties. I found it to be a great thing. For code enforcement, it is also self-serving, because these properties that we normally would have to abate, we can go clean them up, not using your monies or public funds, get them cleaned up, bring that stuff to the dump. So it also decreases our workload at the same time. And then also gives us a base case where we say, hey, it needs to stay like this.
If someone wants you to come and help them out, you may contact me.
So I brought a bunch of flyers. I brought all these flyers, and I'm going to hand them out. All you have to do is call our office, speak to Damian Marks, and he will coordinate that with you. There's 2 days, so if you know friends, family, people that are in need of this, we also sent it over to social services for adult protective services, child welfare services, any of their customers or clients that need this service. We're here to help. We're not checking IDs and all that stuff. If you live in the incorporated areas of the county, we're taking you at face value. You come, you dump your stuff. As long as it's not paints, needles, hazardous materials. We do take tires with no rims. Metal, so we have a metal pile, tire pile, wood pile, furniture pile, and then we just have bins that you could just pull up and dump. And then we also have contractors that will help you unload if you need that assistance. Now, it is a free service, so you're gonna have to do a little bit of work. We're not doing everything for you, but you don't have to tip us, so you got that going for you.
So anyone from all over the county?
So we're not making it exclusive. So yes. So here's the thing, we can always look at the worst case outcome, but I'm thinking the city. Yeah, we don't, those city folks, I don't know about, they're different. Yeah, just kidding, we love them. Yeah, so here's the thing, we just did the Castle and Lucerne, biggest dump day we've done so far. I think we're ready. So it's gonna be what it is. Let's just say the first weekend, there's more than we anticipated. That's why we did a second weekend. We are looking for volunteers if you can help. If you know people that just need the help, you can just help them on your own. If you think that they need help from us, you can contact our office, speak to Damian Marks. I have a flyer here so you can follow up on this. There's the front and back side. And you can call him and you can schedule it so we can get people with trailers to go to them. We will help them load the trailers and bring it back and dump it here. So we are hoping that the demand outsizes what we have set aside for this. We will get it back on the second weekend if we have to. So it's 8 to 1, hard cutoff at 1 because there's always cleanup that has to happen. Our crew, our contractors don't work past 4. So, I expect there to be a lot. I hope there is a lot, but we want our properties to be clean. Well, unclean property is a health violation, it's a safety violation, it's a health quality of life issue. These are real things. By declutterizing your property, you create a better environment for you, the minors on the property, the adults. It's just a better situation. It's like spring cleaning. I don't know about you. I just did spring cleaning last week. Yes, I do spring cleaning. Swifter, everything, pledge everywhere. Lemon, my house smells like lemon right now. But it just feels better when you have a clean environment, a safe environment. You're not tripping over stuff. You don't have rats and insects and vermin. You don't have insects biting at you all night long. So we're prepared for this and we're looking forward to it. And please get the word out. If you would like to volunteer, you contact our office. We'll work it out. We would appreciate volunteers.
So we will post all of this on, for any of you that don't know, Earth now has a website. It's at lakeearthca.com. And we will post all of this on there. If you don't have a flyer, feel free to go there to find out the information or email us if you need help or volunteers, and we will make sure that Marcus's group knows that information. And I do implore all of you to tell everybody that you know about this and get people to work together. Sterling, maybe you could talk to Spring Valley.
Just gonna see if we can get some for the store.
Yes.
There's a lot of garbage places out there.
Yes.
Valley is included.
Yes,
I know we
yes.
need some for the store, 'cause there's a lot of trashy properties out there.
I'll leave the flyer up here. Anyone can just come get it as you feel necessary.
Can we have one?
If you need to, just call our office, speak to Davey. I'll apologize.
Marcus, could you bring us
One?
one, please,
Yeah.
so that we can get it copied and online? Thank you.
I also wanted to suggest that there are small pockets of areas where people have dumped. I know we have a lot up around Lakeside, Lakeview and Widgeon where we live, and possibly
Thank you.
neighborhoods could get together and just go and a group of neighbors just pick up the stuff, and then just bring it in. So.
Marcus, are they going to have, what about outside people, or not outside people, that's a bad choice of words. What if they come in for Clear Lake and stuff? Are they going to accept that too?
We're actually working on that, so we may be IDing, but at the end of the day, what's an ID going to say, We're not opposed to it. So even though we have two cities in this county, it's really like we're one county. They're not two major cities, they're not independent. Legally, they're independent, but they're not really independent. It's one and the same. Just so you're aware, a lot of the issues the county deal with, I would assume and speculate that that's a lot of it coming from the city. So if the city has opportunity to dump their stuff, I don't think we're going to be opposed to it, because that will also solve our issue of cleaning up those messes. Sulphur Bank and Grand Junction, I don't think that's Clear Lake Oaks proper.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I would say that's the city of Clear Lake. But at the same time, we live together, we play together, we work together. If we can help them out, that'd be great. But we are going to kind of put it out there that City of Clear Lake is not part of this. They had their own dump day. They had their opportunity. This is Spring Valley. This is Clear Lake Oaks, Glen Haven.
Okay.
Do you need? Well, I might as well just hand all these out now that I've kind of gone halfway through this. But is it best to leave them up here or over here?
Yeah, just right there on the table is good.
So please take us up on this opportunity. This is a great thing, and I hope everyone can benefit from it. We found a lot of people in Lucerne benefited. At Nice, they were lined up down the street at 7:30 in the morning waiting for us. I was like, oh, so it's a great thing, and I'm glad that our department, so it wasn't one person at our department, it was a team of people. To write a grant is not an easy thing. To deliver on the grant and to keep the deliverables and the stats and all the other things they require in a grant is not an easy thing. So this is a 2-year project, and I'm just really happy that we have the staff and the good people that could come together, work together, and make this happen and bring this to you. I know Supervisor Crandall's done a dump day in Lucerne, and every once in a while you get a dump day here and there. We're trying to make this routine the best we can. Obviously, the grant's only for 2 years, but the 2 we've done have been very hugely successful, and we're hoping that this one will be also a good one as well.
Good.
Yes.
You can bring down trailers. Like, if you're bringing your truck, you're helping people out.
I would say, so, like, you can't do a roll-off, but if you have a trailer, you can bring your trailer.
Yeah, I have dump trailers, no doors.
I don't have a problem with that, as long as you can get the stuff from your trailer into our trailer.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because like I'm going to tell people in Spring Valley about it, they have trailers and stuff.
I think you should tell everybody in Spring Valley. I was just over there recently. I was not impressed. Yeah. I saw some issues that I really had to kind of have a conversation with some of our staff, like, hey, some of this we need to start addressing some of this stuff.
Thank you, because my neighbor wanted me to ask you some questions, because there's people living in Fitfield out there on properties, and like,
Yeah.
Oh, so your question was, it sounded like more like a statement than it was a question, but,
yeah, I was asking about the trailers.
oh, that was can you bring trailers? You can bring trailers.
Yeah, and then,
As long as it can legally and safely operate on a highway and you can put stuff in it and it's designed for that purpose, you can bring that to us and we will take it.
okay, yeah, and then my other question, I guess, is off the subject of the stuff, but my neighbor, she couldn't make it, she wanted me to ask you, is there's people living in trailers out there. No, because we don't have sewers, so there's no septic. Where are they getting their water? Where's basically all their food and heat going? And I'm glad that you went out there and you've seen that. There's a lot of
So-
places that need to be cleaned up, that are fire hazards.
So I got these questions I got to get to, but I'd like to address this one as well. Lake County has an issue of people occupying trailers not in a compliant manner. This is throughout the county. If you file a complaint, we have a new complaint system, you file that online, we will address it. So RVs are designed temporarily, so let's just start from the basics. RV, by definition, temporary recreational emergency. That's what they're designed for. That's their purpose. They're not designed for long-term human occupation or habitation. If they're using it in that manner, they're in violation of our code. Now, they are short-term, they have tanks that are supposed to address your waste. Unfortunately, they're using it on a long-term basis. Those tanks can't have it, so those questions are very valid. These are real concerns. These are things we need to address. If you know the property, you need to file a complaint with our office. We have a new system. The system was designed because the old system wasn't working very well. Complaints were slipping through the cracks. We didn't have case management. We couldn't stay on top of these things. Also, we didn't have the staffing at that time as well. We have more staffing. Obviously, we need more staffing, but that's another issue. But if you file the complaint, we will address it. And we have officers dedicated to the North Shore under the copter program. Right now, they're dedicated to Lucerne and Nice. We did Clear Lake Oaks, but we can't just neglect Clear Lake Oaks. If we just go there and leave, the problem will just, it doesn't solve the problem. You have to stay on it to solve the problem. Spring Valley, I do want to comment. The comment I'm going to make probably is not going to be something you're going to appreciate. Earlier this year, we did work with special districts. Special districts reached out to us. They said, we have a real issue in Spring Valley. We can't make enough water. So they said, we think the issue, and if we can't make enough water, we have to raise rates. So they came over to us because they weren't, I don't believe they couldn't raise the rates, or there was some issue with that. Let me finish. Then you can rebut after that. And so they came to us, said, we think it's special districts thought it was cannabis. They said, we think it's the cannabis use. So I sent my cannabis officer out there, and we hit, I don't know how many properties for a whole month. That's all we did. Spring Valley, Spring Valley, Spring Valley. Turns out half of it was cannabis. The other half was bad pipes. Bad pipes that had not been put deep enough in the ground, that were cracking, that were breaking, water leaks. So we then had to change up a little bit, get our other officers out there that deal with that type of stuff and address it that way. So special districts was really trying to work on your water issue. Now, the issue you have, I'm not going to comment on. I don't know enough about that. But I did want to say that they did reach out to us, and we did work in partnership to try to address the situation. Now, if a property owner can't fix a water leak, there's not much I can do about that except issue fines and those things. We're not going to pull their pipes out or abate their pipes. All we can do is fine them. The special districts should have tools or mechanisms to address those type of issues. But we are working, and if you file the complaint, we will address those in Spring Valley.
Okay, so I'm glad that special districts reached out to you because I do have the recordings on my phone from the public hearings. Robin stated that there was 68 customers, that were using 50% of our water. So it may not just be all cannabis or water leaks. It could be because we have cheap water. It could be people selling our water to cannabis growers outside of our community. No. And this is where 68 customers are using 100,000 gallons in a bi-monthly. That's a lot of water.
So this is a real thing, and I'm not here to get into this kind of conversation. No, I don't. Here's the thing. I work in code enforcement. Guess what we do all day? This is what we do all day. So this is not an issue for me. I'll let you know, I just came down the streets from Clear Lake Oaks on 4th and Hoover. I just had this conversation on 10 times this level. I'm prepared. You should be making these things. This is how we get better, identifying the issue and then looking for a mechanism. I just wanted to add that special district did reach out to us, and we did try to do what we could together to help resolve this. Now, is that going to solve your problem? No, it's not going to solve your problem, but it is part of a solution. So anyway, that's what I got to say about that. You file the complaint, we will address it, and we'll go from there. We do have more staffing now. We're up to 8 officers and 2 technicians, and we're looking to add another 2 officers. This is the most we've ever had. When I started, we had 2 people. That was it, and no uniforms. So we went out and got grants for all of these positions. $3 million grant for cannabis, another grant for hazardous vegetation, another grant for substandard structure, another grant for, the Board of Supervisors approved the copter program, which approves payment for 2 sheriff deputies and 2 code enforcement officers that work together so that we can address these issues. There's a complementary relationship. Sometimes The issue, I just had this discussion with some people right now. The issue is not the property. The issue is the people that are occupying the property. And they are the problem. And so we have to root them out, and they need to move on so that we can live the lives that we want to live in this county. And so basically, the people staying on that property on 4th and Hoover told them all this stuff is coming down, all this stuff will be moved, and if you don't do it, we will have to do it. As I walk across the street, trailers of trash is dumped there. Whose is this? Oh, we don't know who that is. Yeah, we'll take that. You guys are going to have to figure out something later. Oh, you've been very patient. Thank you.
The complaint process. This phone number, 263-2309, and is there a way to do that online?
So we prefer the complaints to come in online.
Okay, and what's that?
So if you go to the county website and you go to code enforcement, there's an online complaint right on the home page. So if you do it does a drop down, you just go to code enforcement, online complaint, takes you right to it. Now there is a little work on your part. We're not accepting anonymous complaints anymore. You have to create an account. There's a lot of reasons for that. We had a lot of neighbor beefs that drained our resources and time. It's amazing, 10 acres, half an acre, 100 acres. People do not get along. It's amazing, especially in a community that's dependent on each other if there's an emergency. We're not taking these retaliation type of things, these people with child custody issues. We had to root that out. We were getting a lot of complaints that were just taking us all over the place, and they weren't unfounded, or it was just petty little stuff that wasn't really where we should be focusing our resources, or where you would appreciate us spending the money that you pay us and put into this county on those type of issues. Also, through this system where you set up an account, we can speak with you. So sometimes says, oh, property's all messy, it's dirty. I mean, that doesn't help me out. Where on the property? It's 40 acres. Where's the property? Where should I be focusing? How's it affecting you? So now we can message you. We can say, hey, I did my research. Where are we talking about? What are we looking at? You know, that kind of thing. We ask for property. Here's the funny part. Neighbors in this county don't like each other, but they have all the contact information for their neighbor, their daughters, their kids. It's amazing. So they would say, give us their property owners. We'll expedite this and call them. And also through our new system, as you file a complaint, automatically a courtesy letter is generated and sent out to the property owner. Code enforcement's main thing is to get the property owner, get in communication with the property owner, get that ball rolling. We're looking to limit our caseload by 30% through this new process of just having a letter. It's been working out great. Responsible property owners have been calling back, and we've been able to start our processes with them. A lot of it's renters, they're out of county, that kind of thing, but they get on it. So I'm really happy about that. But did I answer your question, or did I?
I have two questions.
Okay.
Could you talk about Ryan,
Ryan,
your code enforcement cannabis person who came to Spring Valley to help cannabis growers and owners get their things together?
I'm not understanding it. Help them how? By doing it compliantly?
Yeah, and I know,
Yeah.
excuse me, Sterling, shut up.
No, hey, we just take it down.
Because she's our advisory lady that doesn't answer any questions in Spring Valley, and she's just always constantly
Want to
there.
answer my question?
I do want to answer your question. I just want this to not go into another, evolve into something more. So de-escalation is another code enforcement tactic. I was at an exhibit here, but.
So he told me, stopping at homes, stopping at places, putting up yellow tags, and what he told me was he was out there to help cannabis people get their things in order.
So I think there's a misinformation, right?
No grow, Spring Valley's a no grow.
So I think there's a miscommunication or misinformation out there. Ryan was part of the special districts program to help them with their water issues and help deal with the water price or special districts, the lack of being able to create water.
He's driving around in your truck with your shirt.
I got that. I mean, it's what he's paid to do, but I don't know. I think he was out. So Ryan is very good. I've seen him bring down. So we had two other cannabis officers that weren't very good and did some things they weren't supposed to. Ryan is much different. He has done triple the amount of work and gotten people in compliance and gotten things down. How many people go out Highway 20 to Calusa? Remember that one property where you could see the big old greenhouses on the top right there? You don't see those anymore. Law enforcement didn't do that. CHP didn't do that. State didn't do that. Ryan did that. And there's a bunch of other ones that are very well known that he got down. So I apologize if that's the way it came out, but he was trying to help as far as dealing with the water issue and getting the cannabis guys out of there. I don't think he was looking to get them permitted, because you can't get permitted out there. You have to go through a process. But I don't know enough, but if I had to put, knowing Ryan and knowing who he is, and I think if you knew who he was, very honorable guy, very old school kind of guy. Worked at the fire department, worked as a emergency tech with the fire department, worked at air quality. I'm hoping there's just a miscommunication, or the message just didn't translate very well. But if he's putting a yellow tag on you, that yellow tag is the start of our enforcement process. And if you saw him putting up that, I'm willing to wager that he was trying to do things, but at the same time, he was also trying to help people with their water issues as part of the special district collaboration that we had going on. If you have information to the contrary, we can certainly discuss that after the fact, or we can discuss it at my office. Did you have a question?
I have a question. Were the open violation complaint forms that we did prior to the switch to the new one brought over to the new?
So we're still kind of going through that transition where they're doing the data dump. Most of them did come over, or we opened up cases that paralleled them. I'm not going to say that all of them came over properly, because we're still dealing with the transition phase. We're still in this thing called hypercare, where they're still bringing records over. Our building department, I know, is still dealing with that. I think if you have a real concern, I would file a new complaint, and let's just make it fresh and start over. Or you can I would start with a new complaint. Let's just do that. Yeah.
And one other question from someone online who was having trouble. She wanted to know, how do we address vehicles left on the street more than 72 hours, not moved, and we have filed complaints. I feel like there's a sailboat on Bridgewood that's been there forever.
Okay.
What
No, I know that boat.
What is the process for?
So, well, remember, so code enforcement is not parking enforcement. There is a state law and there is a county code saying you can't park in the same spot for 72 hours. We don't enforce that. We look at it from a different criteria. Is it inoperable? Is it wrecked? Is it dismantled? Inoperable, wrecked, dismantled, or can't drive safely, I guess you would say. Yeah. So we don't have we're actually going to be presenting a code to the supervisors to update our modifier code, so we're addressing these issues. One of them's going to be if you're blocking anything that would inhibit or obstruct an emergency vehicle. We don't have that code right now. So if you see a sailboat parked on a trailer, we have to look at it. Is it inoperable? Is it wrecked? Is it damaged? Oh, the other ones, is it abandoned? If we can't determine this, we can't take it. So we are very conscientious about what we do. When we take someone's vehicle, we are crushing it. We understand that if we make a bad choice, that's not good for the person who owned the vehicle, that's not good for the county, that's not good for anybody. We have a system where we go and review these things, multiple layers, before we take it and crush it. So if we are not taking it, I gotta believe there's a reason for it, that it doesn't meet that criteria. Now, if you had city police usually do parking enforcement or things with 72-hour. Sheriffs, they're the guarders of the jail, and then they patrol the unincorporated areas, kind of a secondary function there. So I don't know what the solution is. Parking enforcement, if you wish, I don't know. I'm not going to throw out suggestions, especially with the two supervisors in the room here. But I would say that's the issue. And the boat there, I think the boat's in pretty good condition. I am not going to take that boat, crush that boat, unless it is if I can determine up to a clear and convincing level that it is in violation. I can't. So here's the thing. We're very conscientious in our authority. We're not here just to tell you guys what to do. I don't think you would appreciate it if we said you have to do this, you have to do that, without a basis. If I don't have a basis, I can't tell them to do that. That would be. We're trying to create credibility with you and even the person that you believe is the offender here. We can't, if we start doing these things, we open the barn door, it gets muddy. That's not the business that I'm in. We're going to do it the right way. It's going to take a little longer, But anything in life, when you do the right thing, it does take longer. These are my grandfather's value. It does take a little effort. And in modern society, advanced society, you have to do these extra steps because that's what we require to live in this society, to be healthy and safe and these kind of things. If you think that we're missing something, you can let me know. I'll look at it myself, I'll review it myself, and then I'll let you know why it doesn't meet that criteria or why we can't do anything. At that point, I mean, we want to solve all your problems. Unfortunately, we're not going to solve all your problems. I can look at that, though.
Excuse me, Marcus. So if somebody puts in a complaint online, and you said you would go back and you can email with them to get more information. So if they put in a complaint online and then you found out that it was not something that was under your purview, then you would go back to the person to put the complaint in and tell them what the reason was?
That's what we are training our
Okay.
officers to do, is that when they close a case out, they should send a message, hey, we're closing the case out. They should give some information why we're closing the case out. When they do, in the new system versus the old system, when they do close it out, they have to put in a reason why they're closing the case. That case then comes to me for review. I review the evidence, I review their notes, I review why they closed it out, and I see if that all makes sense and that's legitimate. But you can't have, and if we're not following up with you, you could definitely say, hey, I would like an update on this case, please, and then we should update you. We get all these notifications, so I didn't anticipate the amount of complaints, so they are coming in fast. But we do have the ability to do this, and the officers are trained to be more communicative with the public and these people, and especially people filing complaints. This is a point of emphasis we just had today. If someone files a complaint, we need to bump that up to a priority level. They're expecting something. If you file a complaint, what that tells me is you have a real concern. This was such a bad issue that you had to get up, go over the computer, take the time out of your day to file this complaint because it is such an issue. That's a real thing for me, and that's how our officers are being trained, that this is a real thing. You need to get on it because there is a real concern here. Some of these things take time, though, so that's the one issue with that.
Marcus, I filed complaint after complaint about some property down the street next to me, vacant, 2 vacant lots. Is that through code enforcement?
That is code enforcement, so
Okay, the problem is, those people have been dead for about 45 years, and nobody can tell me. They keep sending the notices to some P.O. box that nobody even lives there anymore.
So here's the thing, that property you're talking about, I know exactly what property you're talking about. And the one issue I have with that property is the truck with the trash that's stuck behind the tree that we can't get any of our contractors to yank it out without knocking down the tree. Just because someone passes away doesn't mean the property's in violation. Just because it's vacant. We do have a vacant structure ordinance, but doesn't mean that we need to board it up. If we had to board up every vacant structure in this county, guess what you would have? A bunch of boarded up buildings. It's going to look like New York City in the late 70s. That's not a good look for us, too. It looks like a abandoned ghost town. That property right there, I know there were squatters when you first complained. The squatters, I haven't seen evidence of squatters in that property. Just so you know, squatters are not a code enforcement issue. The issues created by squatters are a code enforcement issue, such as lack of water, power, trash, rubbish everywhere, some of the other things that they do. Those complaints, I don't think we have a basis which to move forward on, except for the truck with the trash, which I keep trying to find a way to get out of there, but it's so crammed in back there. I don't know how we get it out of there. I don't know how anyone got it back there. So now you're actually helping me in my cause, because now we have 50-year-old problems that code enforcement's dealing with, so perfect.
Well, who do we get to clean that place up? I mean, it's overgrown, trees all over.
I think you're talking about 2 different places. The lot he's talking about is 2 lots. There's no structure on it.
No.
It's 2 lots that are empty. They passed away, like he said, 40 years ago. We cannot, through the county, we can't find out who, she died, she gave it to the church says they don't own it.
So through the county,
There's where we're at.
I have a possible solution here, is that we have this issue a lot. People pass away. The kids don't want the property, there's no next of kin, there's no will, there's no trust. The county has an administrator and a guardian. And usually if there's no one there to take care of that or to settle the estates or the affairs of the descendant, it goes to them. And then it's up to them to kind of sell the house, pay off all the taxes, do something with that house, get in touch with next of kin, see if they'll take it. I can't speak on how their processes work or if these properties have gotten over to them.
They died.
I know, but when you die,
No, I mean,
the people...
the attorney that had them died.
Oh.
So nobody seems to know. What my question is the county asking, I mean, they're losing taxes on this place. Are
They are.
they asking 40 years worth of taxes?
So here's the other odd thing, is that if it is delinquent in taxes for 5 years, it should go to a tax lien sale. How many people want to buy this property?
40 years, I'll buy it.
There you go. Did we look it up yet? See if it's on
Oh,
the
I've
tax lien?
looked it up. Nobody knows it's
All right.
there.
Can I get that address and I'll
I
check it
will
out?
give it to you.
So we do have a tax lien sale coming up. The tax lien sales benefit code enforcement, I'll get to you in a second. Will benefit code enforcement because new owners don't just let properties sit. They fix up properties. They get them out and they get them rented out and get good people in there. So we benefit from that. We don't want them sitting around either. I've been in real estate before I had my investigative career with the state and now with the county. A home that's not lived in and loved will fall apart real quick. So this one I'll have to do some special investigation in, and then I will communicate back to whoever and let you know what I found out, and we'll get in touch with the administrator in the guardian's office, see if they had a case on it.
I brought you some papers, I got
Yeah.
some
But
AP
you,
numbers.
let's be honest with ourselves. You have an older population in this community. People are going to pass on. That's the cycle of life. Not everybody wants these properties. The kids have moved on. They have big city. They have different lives. This is a strain on them. Or you have people that bought properties sight unseen that don't really want these properties and don't want to develop them. So this is an issue we're always going to face. We'll do our best.
I have a question. You tow away cars, trailers, and motorhomes.
Yeah.
What's the cost to the county, to your department, to
So-
tow away these trains, these motorhomes?
So we tow inoperable, wrecked, damaged, abandoned vehicles, regular cars, regular trucks, RVs, trailers, boats on trailers. If it's just a boat on the ground, it's illegal dumping. We just chop it and get it out of there. Right now, we're doing new contracts. Prices probably will be going up. Right now, it's $150 a vehicle plus trash. If there's any trash in there, up to $25, $50. It's $100 for an RV or a boat on a trailer. So if you have a 28-foot RV or trailer, $2,800 plus those trailers have become dumpsters, so all the trash in it. And that's not $50 trash, that's $400, $500 trash. Boats, so if the big ones, the 30, 40 footers, $3,000, $4,000. So, and here's the thing, this is we don't have all the money in the world. We're working with what we got. We have money that we get from the state when you register your vehicle. And then we have the money that we can find. So we do the best we can. I think we've done a much better job recently than we have in the past. We are getting a lot of them out. I just saw one in the turnout in Lucerne on the way down. I'm pretty sure that one's going to go pretty soon. But we get them out. I think that's one thing that we're pretty darn good at. We have a pretty good system of getting those out. And we're also going to look to update our code so the last registered owner will incur a fine for those vehicles. Unless they can provide release of liability through DMV, which is what the responsible person is supposed to do when they sell or get rid of a vehicle. I think you have been very patient.
Thank you, Marcus. Julia Carrera, and thank you for all you've been doing lately. The North Shore looks cleaner, and part of it is
He's asked me to start over. Julia Carrera, thank you, Marcus, for coming, and thank you for all you've been doing lately. The North Shore looks cleaner because of code enforcement and Supervisor Crandall's support in your grant for the cleanup. And I'm excited about the new system, but what about the complaints that were made prior to the new system that have never been addressed?
So I've been in this position about 3 years. When I took over, it was pretty much in shambles. There was no system, there was no organization, there was no structure, there was no training. You had really no code enforcement division or unit. When I first started, there were 600 cases that had not been addressed. And that was in 2019. A backlog of 600 cases. We've kind of gone to a different system where we're not just complaint-based now. We're partially complaint-based, but we also have compartmentalized and created niches and program areas. So we have a guy now that does unpermitted construction and substandard housing. We have 2 guys that do all things cannabis-related, legal and illegal. And we're not just talking about plants. We're talking about cannabis infrastructure, high fences, unpermitted structures, unpermitted electrical, which is the big issue everyone should be concerned with, environmental issue, not using proper pesticides. We work with environmental health on that. We have one person that does AVA. Well, he does 50% of his time is AVA. We have 2 officers that only do the North Shore, and they will go out and find the worst of the worst with the sheriff's office. We'll say, we got a bunch of complaints, sheriff office say they have a bunch of complaints. We go out, we hit that, and we make sure there's a long-term resolution. One case in point is on Morton Street up in Nice. Problem for years. That dude pulled a shotgun on us. Now he's in jail. Because we had the sheriff there, we were very fortunate. That now all those people that live around there have said it's so much quieter. The person who owned the property, she's starting to clean up all the motorcycle parts, get that out. There's still some work to be done, but we're in a much better place than they were 6 months ago. So we've kind of gone to this hybrid system. Now those complaints, I don't know what they are, but if they're egregious and serious and they're creating a real issue, a health and safety issue, or affecting surrounding properties, if minors are living in those conditions, you need to bring those to our attention. We need to start those new and we need to get on those. So we are kind of starting from scratch. It does kind of give us a fresh start because we can say, hey, we have these complaints, we can follow these through, but we kind of know where the bad ones are too. Crump and Lucerne, that's a horrible one. I got a positive one for you, Barrel. Barrel has now been sold, and there is a new owner in there, and she has cleaned up that property. The person who's living in there is now in Sonoma County. Sonoma County has that problem, not Lake County anymore. But Barrel has been a big issue and contention. We abated it twice, $18,000, another $15,000. We got our money back. New person, nice, sweet lady. She's going to clean that up, have a beautiful property. Pingree used to be a bad one. Remember everyone with the garage door fences? That one's gone. So we are going, the Parento property sold. That we had to work. Yeah, the one on right on the highway in First Street. The guy on First Street that the bank owned, that guy is now on Hudson. Now he's off of Hudson and he's somewhere else. But we're working through these things. We know the problem properties. We kind of are getting better at this. Some of these take a lot of work. The Parento property, we had to work with their attorneys and everything. It was a big thing, but it finally got done. Oh. I would say resubmit it, bring it to my attention. If there's an egregious one, a simply one where you look at it and you go, oh no. As I was leaving the problem on 4th and Hoover, I was coming by First Street in the Oaks on the Keys Boulevard side, and there's one that got really out of hand there. And luckily, I know the owner already, so we've already expedited that process. But I said, as I drove by, I heard rumors about it, and my officers were telling me about it. But as I drove by, I went, oh no, yeah, that one's going to have to get worked on tomorrow.
Oh, tell me about the one on 4th and Lake.
4th and Lake.
Big motorhome.
I'm not familiar with that one, so.
Oh, it was terrible.
Was it?
And
Is that,
abortions.
oh,
Yes.
the green one.
Yes.
So that's the Ackley RV. So all our RVs have nicknames.
It was bad.
It's a, give me one second, Chuck. So the Ackley one, that started out on Ackley and Lakeport, went to Lower Lake, went up to the Nice Park, came back down, and ended up somehow on 4th Street. In that time, it went from a brown tan RV to a green RV. And so that one was just, it looks like someone just drove it, jumped out the side, and just let it roll into that property. So that one, when that one came to my attention, we said, that one's going. We had to get that one out of there. The other issue with that one, though, is right across the street, you had that property getting out of hand. So we actually got with that property owner. I think they're cleaning it up. It's in a better state. So unfortunately, these things kind of spontaneously just explode on us. And it's just like, whoa, where did that come from? But that RV was horrible. I was glad when we had the chance to actually get rid of it. If it moves, we can't do anything about it. If it moves, we just tag it. It moves again. As you probably are very well, they hook it up to a little rope there, and they will just pull that thing all through the county and mess up all the roads, and it's amazing what they can do. My contractors can't do some of the work that some of these tweakers can do. It's amazing. Chuck.
Yeah, Marcus, Short Street Grant.
Okay.
Question. You and I have been going back and forth on this for about 2 years now.
I'll give you that.
Last February, you and I went back, and you said that the trailer chain link fence will be removed.
If I say chain link, I don't think it's a chain link fence. I think it's a wood fence.
Fence will be cut down to 4 feet in height by the end of the
So at the time I said that, that was the information that we were given. I think the fence is still up, but I think the issues on the property have been removed. He's going to have to cut the fence, and we've had so this. Let's just be transparent on this. Oh, please finish. Sorry.
You did mention that if all those changes didn't happen, code would place orders to abate on the property.
Yep. So he kind of okey-doked us with that one, but I just talked to him again. It's going to have to come down. We will put the order on him. The problem is the order doesn't go to him. It goes to the defunct HOA from 1962. We do need to get it. So what this is this is a property. It was owned by an HOA. It's now a defunct HOA with Secretary of State. Nobody seems to know who owns it. People see, I guess in some general plan or some plans, it's supposed to be open for the public, but it is private property. A person who is a contractor that works for the county is taking it over through adverse possession. The zoning, I think it's pre-planned development zoning, so you can't really do much with that property. So it means you can't store much on it, but he did put up a fence that's over height. Now, the problem is that fence is the same fence that's along the whole Short Street, and it's not a very long street. That's why they call it Short Street. So we're actually, the can of worms is going to be opened up and I'm not saying that we shouldn't be doing this. We should pursue the code and enforce compliance fully. But now that person has complained about every fence on that street. And so as you might expect, as I went to all those properties, I had all those property owners yelling at us. So now we kind of told them what they need to do. We gave them a little bit of time. That time has now run out. So now this has to happen, and I will let you know when those orders go out. And I would expect that they go out probably, I would say give us 2 weeks just to be safe. Did we get the trailers off Widgeon though? We got 2 off trailer. But Short Street's been very contentious. I think there's been some misinformation involved. I just try to give you as much, we try to be transparent. You guys can all see this on GIS. You can see the zoning. A lot of the information we look at is public information ourselves. We don't have any secret databases. We're not the FBI. So it is private property. If you wish to contest the adverse possession, you guys have those rights too. But the fence is not in compliance, and it does need to come down. And what Chuck is doing here is he's holding us accountable. And unfortunately, that's how this system works. You are to hold us accountable. Julie over here is going to say, hey, what about those old complaints? You're not working on the old complaints. She's going to refile that, then she's going to hold us accountable. Unfortunately, there has to be some accountability. And if we're not doing our job, you guys have to let us know, and we need to be better. Remember, we are civil servants. We are here to serve. And that's part of all our officers understand this. It's not about us. It's about the community and doing what the code is. It's part of the social contract. We all agreed to these terms. These are the terms we live by. And Chuck has been very patient with this. And at this point, he really doesn't need to be patient. He could cuss me out if he wanted. He'd probably be right to do so. But we need to do something about it. And now I'm all on record, so you have my word. So next when I come in, if I don't do it, you guys can get on me. And that would be fair. It would be fair. Well, I think these guys got up before you.
Just a quick question. You mentioned a couple times here already where you run into a situation where there's a question of who the owner is, or there's some sort of legal property right obstacle that's been being as effective as you would otherwise like to be. Is there anything being done to help with those types of scenarios?
So actually, those are issues because we try to understand the situation in full, and we try to explore every avenue before we have to use public funds. Just so you understand, code enforcement by design is a last resort. It's a public safety net. If the property owner and those people cannot do it for themselves, we are here to do it for the benefit of the county. Sometimes it takes longer because we're trying to find these things so we don't have to do these things because some of them are expensive. But we actually have the tools where if we can just go ahead and do these things if we need to. If we do proper notifications, proper due process, proper service, we've met all the requirements of the law, we've substantiated there's a violation, we can go ahead and abate these things. Sometimes the issue boils down to costs or logistics. Some of these things aren't easy, and some of these things that people have done over the years, it's kind of baffling. Like the one I just came from 4th and Hoover. They had taken a utility pole, built a whole shed around it, put electrical all weaving through it. I looked at it and I said, great, that's going to be a nightmare. And you can't just knock it down and we're done. You have to just take all that electrical out of there. They sealed it up with whatever substance they found. It's nasty. Foam everywhere. We all see the foam everywhere where they secrete or seal it up. That's code enforcement. That's devil foam right there. We don't like that foam. But we can work through these things. We have the tools. We have the mechanisms. And remember, the law is always designed to have a workaround. There's always a way to get at it. Now, I would, as much as I would appreciate more legal support in some of these things we do, we can get these things done. It boils down to really time, energy, and resources and staffing.
Okay, we're going to break this so we can get on with the rest of the meeting.
Alright,
You're going to be around after the meeting.
I didn't even get to these.
It's okay.
All right.
But if we need to cut it
carry
off,
on.
not a
Thank
problem.
you,
Jim, I
Mark.
want to ask, I have a few questions.
Well, I think Angela has.
Okay. So Marcus, you mentioned that some of these projects spontaneously combust and appear. and
Yeah, it's
to hold you
amazing. Like
accountable.
overnight sometimes, it's amazing.
All right, well, I'm going to hold you accountable right now. So we have a bunch of, you know how many abatements we've had tagged out there for
And we're talking
several
Double
years.
Eagle now.
Yes.
Okay.
So the last time you were here, you told us you had Cal grant money and you were going to be cleaning up the properties that were tagged for abatement. Okay? And so how many are you planning on abating this year?
So here's the thing. There were 2 grants in play at that time. There was a Cal Recycle grant and a, God, I forget what it was called. It was like a BSCC grant, Board of State Corrections, some kind of grant, to mitigate cannabis or cannabis remediation. That grant we did not get. And that was the grant, I think you're thinking about that property that CDFW came in and just shredded out there.
That's
Yeah.
the biggest one out
So
there.
that one is the one we were going to use that grant for. That grant fell through and was not on our Cal Recycle list. From my understanding, I'm hearing different stories. I hear there's that property and maybe one other that needs to be abated, but I've heard the other ones are self-abating. Is that
There are
not
quite
the
a few
case?
self-abating, and that's why we sent a letter of recognition for Todd, because he's been doing a great job out there and
and I
getting
just-
people to self-abate.
And just so you know, if Todd didn't take on this challenge, which he is not a code enforcement officer, he's a grading and stormwater inspector.
Right,
But
and you assigned him out there.
Yeah, but because he felt for your cause, he said, I want to take that on. I can handle that. I didn't really have any officers or staffing to dedicate to Double Eagle.
Yeah.
So he took that on, and I'm glad he's doing. I'm glad to hear that you're somewhat satisfied with the work he's done. But this is the conversation we're having right now. Is that one that we're talking about? I believe Lance, or I forget what it's on.
No, that the one that we're talking about is on Water Trough.
Yeah, a water trough.
That's the one that we're talking about, that where Fish and Wildlife went in.
And it has all the cars and all the plastic flowing? Okay.
Yes. And it's not part of Double Eagle, to just use our road to get to it.
Well, that's another, that's a Double Eagle
Yeah.
issue. That's not a
Yeah.
code enforcement issue, sorry. But that's one we have to look at. And the logistics of that one is tough because the roads aren't great. At the time we were discussing abatement, it was the wet season. The roads were muddy. They weren't really in good condition. Also, the logistics of it. We're looking at about a $15,000 abatement minimum. So that's the conversation that is still going on right now. Now that the weather's dried up, can we get contractors back there? Can we do this? How long is it going to take? Also, forcible entry is going to be an issue, but that's something we can work around. So that's something that we're discussing right now. Each abatement involves a cost analysis. If I had all the money in the world, that would already be done. The people before me that would have had that done. Probably not. They were disorganized. They probably wouldn't have had it done, but it's not. In a perfect world, that'd be done. But if I had all the money, we would go get all these things. So we were able to scrap up a substantial amount of money. I'm not going to get into the facts. And we found out we had this lump sum. And that's when I told my code supervisor, said, every RV, every boat on a trailer, this was just a month ago, go get them all. So we had a list, and we kind of go, this one needs to go, this one needs to go, this one. But there's still 10, 15 on that list. Once I found that chunk of change, or was able to get that chunk of change, working with our auditor's office and some of these other offices, I said, okay, it's over. Go get them all. We're not going to always have those luxuries where we have those pots of money. So this is something that's going to, one day we may not be having this civil conversation. You may be saying, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And I'm going to have to say I did a cost analysis, and I'm going to say I couldn't do it because of this, this, and this. At the same time, I haven't gotten to that determination yet where I'm saying we're not doing it. It is a bad one, and it is an environmental issue. It's next to some kind of creek or waterway or something
Indeed,
back there too.
yeah.
The issue that we're working on right now is talking to our contractors about logistics, being able to get back there safely, being able to get their trailers, which there's going to be a lot of stuff put in those trailers, and it's not easy to get those trailers through those roads back to the highway, and the overall cost of it. And if we have to tow vehicles out, that's another logistical challenge because our tow guys have to get in there, hook it up, and if they have to tow it out those roads, that's not always the safest issue, and they're going to ask for more money to do that. So that is where we're at with that. There may be a day where we just can't get to it because there's other places that I feel we need to allocate our resources in more densely populated areas that are affecting more people. All I can do is all the word I can give you today is that I will do my best to see that we can get out there. But until I have all this information and until some of these other issues have been resolved, it's going to be kind of where it is now. And it's been like that for 2 or 3 years, 4 years,
Almost
5.
Probably pushing 4.
I would say it was
3,
before my
4.
time as manager because I already knew
Yeah.
about it before that because I kind of went out there and went, what is this all about?
Right.
All I can give you my word is I'll try my best to see what I can do about that. But this is the difficulty in my position. And Angela's a very nice person, and she's been very supportive. And she even wrote a letter about our storm and grade water guide, and great job he's doing.
That was at at our meeting. The residents are so pleased with the difference that we've seen out there already.
So she's saying all these good things, and she's saying we're doing such a great job, and she's pumping me up over here, and I want to do this for her. But at the same time, if I do my analysis and we have some real pressing issues, I might not be able to get to it. We've had the luxury of some of these abatement monies coming back because properties have been sold. That gives me a little more money. That changes my consideration for that property. But there may be a day where she's going to be upset and she said, that guy's no good and he doesn't do his job and these kind of things. But this is what I'm paid to do, is do a cost-benefit analysis, see where we can best allocate our resources, see where we need to put these things. There's parts of the counties that are not getting the attention that the North Shore is getting right now. And these are decisions that I have to make, and these are issues I have to deal with every day, and she's going to be right. She has a legitimate complaint, she has a legitimate issue. But I have to make these, and I'm going to make good ones, I'm going to make bad ones, and right now that one's just kind of in limbo. The main issue with that was the weather.
Well, you were just so excited when you told me about the money the last time, and we got excited. So
don't
get me excited until you know.
I know,
for sure.
I know. That was I was excited too because we were actually very deep conversations with the state for the cannabis remediation grant, and I thought we were going to get it. And at the last second, they kind of went, well, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Let's just say going through the grant process, I found some departments that are very sophisticated and organized and have this down, and some that don't. And this one kind of sprung at the last second, and we kind of went, well, that wasn't in your offer or your solicitation. You didn't say you had to, and we said, and we still tried to make it happen, and at the end of the day, it got kind of messy. And I always have this philosophy that if something doesn't feel good and it's messy, just stop. You know, you don't want to get into it and make it messier. We've had issues where we had to back out of stuff and pay the state back and stuff. I don't want to give the state any more money than they already have. I want to keep that money and use it here. And also with that causes frustration because everyone's excited and then nothing happens. So that's my position on that. I'm not going to ramble on about that.
No,
but
just holding you accountable.
you
so
are,
thank you.
and she does. And again, this is
Ready?
a conversation I'm going to have and figure out
Yeah.
if the logistics and the money work out. But it is on our board. That's all I can say.
All right, thank you, Marcus.
All right.
Thank you so
Marcus,
much.
thank you really a lot.
Okay, item 6, new
a minute.
business. We need an election
Can you
of
wait
a
one
chair and a vice chair.
Jim.
Who wants to take over chairman and vice chair?
Anybody want to volunteer to be chair?
Don't forget the flyers that are up there.
We need 2 people.
I'm the secretary.
So I'll nominate Jim for chair and Maria for vice chair.
Do that or
You 2.
us do-
Us two?
Well,
can
what
fight
is-
it out
what is-
later.
You don't want to be the chair?
No,
Oh, okay,
no.
done with that. Okay, I'm not sure what the chair involves, but I'll go with chair. Oh, I'll nominate me. I don't know how this works.
So
Huh?
you're nominating her for
Okay,
chair?
I'll nominate Maria for chair.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Let's do it.
That's done. Okay, there
Okay,
was
so
a
who's vice now?
discussion.
Now we're doing
Oh.
vice chair.
We got to do vice chair.
Well, nominate Jim for vice chair.
Jim, will you be vice chair?
No,
vice-
I've
you're vice
been
chair
on it
right
for
now.
2 years.
He's done, it sounds like.
I'm
I'll
secretary.
be vice chair.
Okay,
go
so
for it.
Angela, I nominate Angela for vice chair.
Good. Angela would be good.
We'll second it then.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
I'm not supposed to be able to do that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I second it.
Excellent.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's what you call getting roped into something.
Well, you know.
Okay,
somebody gotta do it. Let's
discussion
keep this ball
consideration
rolling.
on Earth mailer.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine, thanks. So basically, at the last meeting, since we now have our Earth website, et cetera, we had discussed sending out a mailer to all the people in the Earth district. And basically, we said we would come back with, just a mock-up, et cetera. And what we did is we just talk about, what Earth does, some of the things that go on. We thought we could also advertise the cleanup days so that everybody in the district would know about it. I did get a quote on it, and if we go with black and white cardstock, and there's about somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500 mailers that would go out, it would be somewhere between $1,600 and $1,900 to do it. So I'm basically asking if you want to approve that.
You're asking for money?
From him.
We have a budget, don't we?
We have a
Some-
budget.
It's up to you. If you want to spend it on that as your, then you just submit it
Do we know how much the budget is?
at 4166.
4166,
Town hall
so,
has better speakers than mine.
It would be about $1,600 to $1,900. Or, if we cut down, it ends up being about 50 cents per mailer, including postage. Okay.
yeah, do it.
Each town hall has 4166. There's 3,333 between the three of you. I don't know who'll get the extra cent, but that was from last year's cannabis discretionary, and because there wasn't any use in any of them, it's just still there. Then there's still the 833 amongst the 6 town councils that's still from 2021 that we got from PG&E. Well, actually, it's 2020, and I think that's where it kind of fell under the wayside because COVID happened. So the funding's still there. So you have 4,166. So if you want to use it for that, you can. Is that one mail out or how many mail outs?
It's one going to about 3,000 to 3,500 people.
That's just
Okay.
one time.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's
Yes.
it's going to pack and mail?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah.
That's the quote they gave me.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's,
You don't need a motion on that, just apply for it then, huh?
do we need to make a motion on that, or just agree, or
just apply.
consensus, or?
If you want to do it, we just submit it to pack and mail. They know to bill the admin.
I like the idea. I mean, how do we get all everybody's addresses?
So basically, IT would put together a list for us.
So we
He
just
said he
mail
could
it-
have it next week, yeah.
Mail it to everybody in
Mhm.
Shoreline? I think that would be,
Mhm.
we need to get people aware of us.
Yes,
And so
that's what I thought,
I think
too.
that's a great, I think, I go for it. I say, yes, do it. Let's do it.
And you?
You like that? Yeah. Let's spend the money.
You want to make a motion on that? Is that what you're doing? Or do we need to? I don't think we need
I
to.
don't
You
think
just,
All right.
What we did
Just apply
before
for
too
it.
is, I think I did a mail out, I think it was Lucerne, and we used the sewer or the special districts. We used that to make sure we hit everybody, most of everybody at least, but then,
So that's a good idea.
yeah, I'm just thinking of other ways, that way to cut down your cost or whatever, if it does. I don't even know if it does or not, but I got the list and we just went through that.
Special districts is all water related, right? As far as-
Well, no, it's the sewer.
everything.
Right, but like, there's so many properties out here that are all.
Well, that's what I mean, is that would,
Well, septic.
those addresses, because there was a cost differentiation, and there was people that weren't able to be reached, so we used that. We were still able to mail to others because we had the addresses, but then it lowered that cost. I'm just giving you examples of what we did before.
Okay, I can check on that,
All
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah,
All right.
All in all, you submit it to pack and mail. You can CC me in those submittals, and we'll make sure admin puts it towards that budget.
Okay,
okay, yeah, I like the idea.
Just do it.
Let's do
okay,
it.
got it.
Okay. District 3 MAC update.
Okay, so basically, Angela and I were both at Surth and Worth's meetings to talk about creating a D3 MAC alliance. So basically, we had talked about the three MACs in District 3 coming together to work on projects that would be to the benefit of all of the North Shore. Anyway, Surth and Worth were very, very interested in it, and Surth enough that they actually came to the Worth meeting to also say they wanted to be a part of it. They have 2 people from Worth, Angela and I from Earth, and then 2 people from Surth, who we created a small subcommittee, and we actually have had 2 Zoom meetings in which we've brainstormed a list of overall subjects that we'd like to possibly tackle. A list of those I put on each of the tables there. Lisa Marie Benavides up in Upper Lake turned this into, she would like to do a short online survey to find out what the public wants. So basically, we've put together, she has a draft survey. We would put it together. It's just got very simple questions. Where do you live? Do you think that the 3 groups should work together on projects for the benefit of the North Shore? And then basically you rank what your criteria is. What do you think is important or not? And any other information. So anyway, I would like to go forward with that if people feel that way. I know. Do you have anything to say?
No, I think we've been having good discussions, and I think it's all,
Your microphone.
Microphone. Yeah, it's been good discussions. Everybody's excited about it, and we hope to get this survey out and get people's input to see how they feel about it.
So,
I think it's a great idea. Great idea.
Great idea.
Great. No, it's actually going to give us a little bit more leverage with the issues that we're all struggling with regards to the county, interfacing with the county. When we have a much larger group all talking about the same things, I think that's going to be more impactful.
So we will let them know that we're going to go forward with the online survey, and we'll get back to you and let you know what comes from it.
Okay. Commercial cannabis?
Okay. The Poverty Flats Cannabis Project is scheduled for the Planning Commission's May 22nd meeting at 9:20 in the morning. This is a 5.69 acre cultivation site up on High Valley Road next to the current Valley Oaks Cannabis Project and east of the Lou Farms projects. The documents will be available on the county website by Friday, May 16th. CDD is to be bringing an updated table of proposed cannabis ordinance changes to the board on May 20th, unless that's changed. We were supposed to discuss public issues in March, but the task force was disbanded before then. We submitted to them our list of public issues for them to consider. We requested we be able to see the upcoming table before the meeting so that we could be able to compare it with our list, but to date we have heard nothing. And as Supervisor Crandall had suggested a pause in applications, CDD indicated they would bring back pause options with the update. So we'll wait and see.
I support the pause.
I don't know if it is coming. I've heard that too from them, but there's going to probably be quite a bit of things on May 20th, so I don't know if that's still included, but either way.
It was on their monthly spreadsheet.
Okay.
That's how we found that
Okay,
out.
and
So
if
if it changes, that's fine, but it won't be before the 20th.
Just be ready, because we'll probably be there till 10 that night if it is too, so.
Okay. General plan, shoreline area.
No updates this month.
Nothing?
No.
Sonoma Clean Power?
I thought the next one on Sonoma Clean Power, maybe Supervisor Crandall could mention that in his update. Okay.
Park update?
Okay, so last week, Public Services, Lars Ewing received the final draft concept master plan for Klaus Park. And so he scheduled another drop-in session at the Nylander Building next to Nylander Park for May 22nd. Drop-in times are going to be from 3 to 6 p.m. It's going to be similar to the meeting that we had last month, which was very well attended. We had about 60 or 70 people who dropped in. But it's also going to include the landscape architect and the environmental lead person. Lars is preparing a social media flyer and handout, which we will send out and post as soon as we get it, and we will also have all the details on the Earth website. So.
Okay, thank you. Superfund.
Okay. So EPA, EPA plans at the, well, they send me emails. EPA plans at the Sulphur Bank Mercury Mine Superfund site have been progressing. They've been coordinating closely with Elam residents regarding the first phase of the project, which is going to address the mine tailing contamination in the residential areas north and south of the mine site, as well as set the stage for the larger mine site remediations that are going to come. At this time, EPA believes they'll break ground on the residential work as soon as the rains stop in the spring of 2026. They're designing the larger on-mine portion of the cleanup right now. The first phase is going to focus on roadway improvements to ensure that there's access for the residents along the Sulphur Bank Road during all the remediation. They expect to consolidate over 200,000 cubic yards of waste from the tailings ore and rock piles. Let me see. Initial excavation is targeting groundbreaking in 2027. We will keep in contact with them to find out, to make sure that everybody that lives on Sulphur Bank Road knows what's going on and what the road activity will be. One very wonderful thing is E.R.T.H sent in a comment letter a year ago on the proposed cleanup plans, and we included a request that the EPA place emphasis on hiring local and buying local. Based on that, the EPA is planning a small business fair, they don't have any details yet, to inform local contractors and operators of the sorts of work opportunities that they're anticipating having in the upcoming years. And that's all I have for that.
Okay. High Valley Road update.
Okay, High Valley Road, the safety concerns that we are experiencing on High Valley Road, is this on? Are such that, is that on? It doesn't sound like it. Okay, oh, that one's better, I like this one. This one's good. Okay, so the problems that we're having on High Valley Road are large trucks that come around blind curves and block the entire road, forcing small drivers in small cars or just cars off onto the ditch. There's no white lines, there's no shoulders, there's no sidewalks, nothing on High Valley Road. And High Valley Road has many areas where it is not even fire compliant, being 20 feet across or a 10-foot lane. So at one point, the road could be 16 and a half feet across. So it is substandard. So the problems that we're having are these large trucks coming up and leaving the valley and at times blocking ingress and egress. And also, we're asking for a reduction in the speed. At some point, our road speed went from 30 miles per hour as a small local two-lane road, as is described in our general plan, to 55 miles per hour. And if anybody's ever been on High Valley Road, you would know that 55 is a suicide mission. So we are trying to put together documentation, reports, videos, pictures, anything we can to, and submitting them to Public Works to get them to do something. All we're asking really is change the speed limit and reduce the truck size. And it doesn't require re-engineering the roads in any way. This issue also affects Cerrito Drive and Alta Vista. So there are two major wineries in our valley, Brassfield and Monte Cristo. So they have large trucks coming in and out at all that. The traffic itself is increasing dramatically. I've recently reinstalled my traffic camera to see what's going on, and the traffic doesn't seem to stop throughout the night even. We've seen big trucks coming in and out at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're like, what, something's not right. And so my neighbor and I have asked Glenn March, the Public Works Director, to meet with us, and he has refused, saying he doesn't do personal meetings. So we're not able to actually speak with him directly. We are reduced to just sending emails and videos and pictures and whatever else we can get our hands on to make our point, to have this issue addressed. So we continue talking with CHP and the forestry department about High Valley Road, what reports, the crashes that happen, the injuries, just the incidents. And unfortunately, it seems like the information is everywhere, and it's difficult to compile a comprehensive list of all these incidents that happened, aside from what we personally have been documenting throughout the years living on the road. So we also have invited Glenn March to come to Earth, and I think he'll be here in June. Is that correct? So we do expect to be able to ask him questions then, but I think he has other ideas on what he wants to talk about per one of his emails that he sent to us. So we'll see how far we get.
I almost had him coming tonight until I seen Marcus was on his way.
Yeah, no, we need to talk with him, and he won't speak with us. He won't
Speak
have-
with him when he comes here.
Yeah, when he comes here, we'll be asking him questions, but I think he's going to try to dodge a lot of it, because that's kind of what he's been doing to us, is kind of minimizing the issues and talking about how he will go to the businesses on the road to discuss truck length, which is going to be useless. So,
Can I just say one thing?
yes.
Besides, we asked him, besides High Valley Road safety issues, we also asked him to come and discuss the issues that Spring Valley is having with their one-way in, one-way out egress, and we also asked him to address the road repairs, which, if you remember, they were supposed to repair all the roads in Clear Lake Oaks and Glen Haven in 2026. So we asked him for an update on that, too. So that will be next meeting.
Okay, so that's pretty much all I have as far as...
All right, Chuck?
Yeah, my name is Chuck Lamb, and in the interest of time, real quickly, a scant 6 days ago, in a period of 24 hours, there were 4 more truck incidences, semi-truck incidents, within a 24-hour period. The neighbor compiled the information, sent it to the Board of Supervisors and to Mr. March for action, so we're hoping that we hear something at some point. We want to make sure that this situation gets taken care of real quickly. We want to see the truck length shrinking just like it is on the Hopland grade. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Supervisor Crandall.
All right. So just, I won't go too far in the dump days because Marcus did a lot of that already, but I know I got the numbers today because I seen Damien. And so there was a total of 425 tons
Nice.
Wow.
total.
Wow.
60, then 90 on Nice. In Nice, the first 2 dump days, then 115 tons, and then 160 this last weekend. And then when you go back to 23, we did 3 at the castle in Lucerne, and that was a total of 60 tons. So like one of these did as much as we did. So, but in the last 2 years, you're talking 485 tons
Wow.
out of, at least Nice and Lucerne. And then we'll see how that bodes here, So that's going to be a good thing. And so they still, and I don't know if he mentioned this, they still have to address some of the hills, especially here. I know that he mentioned some of the roads, but there's also, the Robinson Road in Lucerne, and then also Pile Road, which is one of the main key factors to how we started moving, or they started moving forward towards this. So just making sure, I'll remind Marcus that, I know he did when we talked before. OpenGov, I know we talked about that last time, having issues. We're working to get a tutorial so that way people can go to that tutorial or click on a tutorial. Let's see, there was something you mentioned I wanted to say.
Sonoma.
Well, yeah, but I'll get to, Sonoma, I'll go to that first. So Sonoma Clean Power, they had that presentation to us last month on the 15th. And they want to do a feasibility study because the last time they did a feasibility study to have a CCA, community choice aggregation, it wasn't feasible. So now they're looking at trying to do a feasibility study to see how that works. We agreed to it, but ultimately we agreed to the feasibility study. But so far, that's just where that stands. I know that when we had met with them, I know some of the community members here had met with this group and showed them the map that I think is it included in your packet? I know I printed it off because I had it in the email. And so there is a map that shows where you can actually have some of the geothermal sites or anything like that. And so there, along the shoreline, you cannot. So that was brought up. We brought up some of those concerns there. But ultimately, they're just doing that feasibility study and looking at providing an alternate direction, but at the same time, keeping an eye on it as it is a standing issue on your agenda as well, and so.
So basically what Supervisor Crandall is saying, that at the board meeting, they said that they will protect the geothermal setback and not allow any geothermal power plants around the lake.
Right, yes, and that's because of the ordinance, so it was a good thing. Yeah, I neglected to mention that, but you said it better. So yeah, that we had to make sure, because they were talking about, I forgot what they were talking about. They were going off into some other discussion, and it was like, okay, but back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the update there. You mentioned the Long Valley Bridge, and when Glenn comes, I hope we'll make sure he reiterates that that's on the capital improvement list, so that way, because I've been mentioning that since he started. That is one of the primary things to deal with at Spring Valley, is that bridge. We have another bridge in Lucerne that's a problem right now as well. Let's see. Lake Pillsbury, we've been on multiple radio stations and things like that. I was on a podcast recently. I had a meeting, was going to have one last night, but it didn't work out. The meeting went past the time I was going to do it. And then there is going to be, I just got a notice from the Chamber of Commerce, Amanda Martin, that there's going to be May 28th at Lake Pillsbury Town Hall, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Soper Reese Theater. It's looking like that's going to be the date and time of it, and Supervisor Sabatier, myself, and Lake Pillsbury Alliance will be on the panel. I'm sure they're looking for others, but I know there's invitations that went out, so.
What was the time again?
5:30 to 7:30, Soper Reese Theater. Yeah. Short term. Yeah, it's a town hall, but I know for sure that's the date. But I think they're just getting confirmation to add more to see who's coming to that. So be looking out for that flyer and whatnot. I just figured I'd mention it because I know it's set. I just don't think they put out the flyer for the other panelists, if there is.
They haven't yet. I was talking to the senior outreach specialist yesterday.
Okay.
And she told me about this.
PG&E.
Right.
PG&E, yeah. And she told me about this, but they haven't sent the flyers out yet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Short-term rental. I know that when we met with Pat, he had something moving on this for the short-term rentals, and he even has somebody that is Pat Sullivan, treasurer tax collector. Sorry, I just call him Pat. But he even has an employee that came in and was working in that direction. So more to come with that. I know he's going to bring something to the board.
So just so everybody knows, it's a program that goes over the internet, and it scans for short-term rentals for people that aren't registered with the county, so that because they're supposed to pay tax, TOT, transient occupancy tax on those.
And when we were at the meeting, they found out that there were, when they scanned everything online with this new group they're doing, there were, I think, 3,000 short-term rental vacation listings that were there, and the tax collector is now starting to send out bills to all the people that are not registered with the county, and I've heard that people are getting them.
Yeah,
And on the other end, since Pat's not really in the business of making ordinances, our job on the board side will be to create that ordinance and have that ready to complement Pat's initiative. So.
Owners should be responsible. That's why. I mean, our problems that we have, they don't care.
Right. And she, for the Zoom, owners should be responsible was her comment, and that's the whole point of the ordinance. You know, that's what needs to take precedent there. Rent stabilization, we're looking at latest June, earliest July to go for the first. Still going through the final steps for. I know I gave you all like one, but we've integrated more because there's the Humboldt is pretty ideal for us to emulate. So It's just going through that and seeing how it fits Lake County. But yeah, it's looking, that's going to be the time frame. And she had her hand up. Go ahead.
You originally told me in March 1st it should be a 3-month span. What are we gonna actually achieve?
The 3-month span is, the 3-month span, the 3-month span is once it's read, once it's passed. Then there's a 3-month span where it takes before it comes into place. Right. She said that back in March, I told her that there was a 3-month span from start to finish, but that once it comes to the board, it has to be read twice.
So thus far it has not been put forth to the board?
No, I just mentioned that the latest would be July, earliest late June. Yeah.
Yeah, we already got our 90-day notice for rent increase, and they're going by 5%.
All right. Well, I mean,
That's in August of this year.
ma'am, even if we would have got it in like back in March, it still wouldn't have been,
So basically, there's no hope that it will be implemented before our rent?
even if it was done back then, it wouldn't have taken place for that situation.
It wouldn't have gone into effect for 90 days. So even if it was in March, it wouldn't have, this rent increase.
Not this year, but maybe next year.
No, it won't be next year. It won't be next year.
Yeah, but our increase goes up in August, so it won't make it by that.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So when, do you guys meet again, like at the remember when I came to the park? When do you meet next? With those people? Have they come back? No, I'm talking about the people that run the park. Have they met with you all? Never. They just send you stuff?
They don't do that.
Remember, they're a corporation,
They won't talk to us.
All right, we're gonna have to talk after. Okay. So there's that. Master fee, I know that there's comments that was sent in for the master fee that was supposed to take place yesterday. It got pushed till next week. So I know that there's some fees that weren't put in, and I think, that's the goal, is to try to get some of that put in there. So it's on the list. So that'll be pushed till next week. There was, you probably noticed on the board yesterday, someone proposed to add staff hours for a 1 cent tax for roads. It's only being researched. It's not going to happen as of yet. It's going to be researched by the Public Works Department. That's the most I know about it right now. But apparently there's a thought that putting a cent tax is going to pass first and foremost, but second, it's going to be put in place to help with the roads. So we'll see how that goes.
So are they also, I didn't understand that, so are they also going to research the TOT?
Well,
possibly being TOT
That
versus
was
sales tax?
that was mentioned, and I don't know if it was not remember. I just know talking with the supervisor that brought it forward. In talking with the public works director, some of the funding for grants or some of the funding that would be applying for we would not be able to use TOT tax
Right.
for some
So
reason.
I guess what I'm asking is the over 8 hours that you guys approved, is that looking at both of those or just the 1
Yes,
cent?
it still is, but it's not even the 8 hours anymore. It's just for him to do it.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so that way it didn't have to go that route.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. I did all Long Valley Ridge. You guys talked about the budgets. The District 3 MAC, you have been meeting on that, and I like the list of items. And I think just to add, one of the things that's really helpful, that's going to be helpful, is the fact that the alliance of that, these issues that you have collectively, I think one of them for sure, the universal garbage, like that's even progressed and
Yes.
evolved to a point where they're, instead of looking at it as an unincorporated thing, which I think is difficult because some folks can't even get garbage service. So, even if they tried, because you live all the way out, so, but community growth boundaries, it seems like it'd be more ideal. So, looking forward to seeing how that progresses. But just giving you the thought and for me, it really helps to have collaborative issues come forward as well. Because I go to them, I'm able to accentuate that in the meetings as it is, but with your letters and with your collaboration, it helps. And I know that in looking into how the structure would work when it comes to Brown Act, all that stuff, I know the advisory boards for like our area agency on aging, there is an advisory board for that. So they, they meet before that board meets and things like that. So I'm just looking at it from that spectrum that, yes, it has two from each group, and however that goes from there. I mean, there needs to be a structure, but your meeting, how often do you guys plan to meet?
We've been meeting once, well, we just started 2 weeks ago, and we've been meeting via Zoom once a week.
Okay, yeah. But it can only do nothing but help, so you won't get any pushback from me. I got this flyer, I don't know, the Lake County CWA 2025 Spring Social. It's at 2766 Parkview, Lakeport, and it's Tracy Klein from Clerk has put it out there to RSVC. I have the flyer right here, and it's for do a short walk through the infested trees. They're going to talk about the Mediterranean oak borer and what to know. So I only brought one, but if you want to come take a picture or something like that, I figured I'd announce it because I got it in my email as I was preparing for this. Let's see, I don't know what. There was one last thing. Actually, no, that's all I had. You covered that one with the EPA. You covered that with the EPA Superfund site because I have the Carter email that he wants to break ground as soon as the rain stops in spring, and so that was pretty good, so.
Okay.
And then I know, just real quick, I know that Michael came to the county and met with the Water Resources Director to talk about, it was the channels and the history of the channels in the document that Scott DeLeon had and how that kind of faltered and fizzled out. I know that Mike's come and talked about it here before, and so he's currently still looking into that. Has he reached out to you yet or anything like that? Not as of yet? Mike?
I haven't heard anything.
Okay, all right.
He hasn't asked for any documentation.
Okay. So we'll follow up with that. But yeah, that it went well. I think at the meeting you felt pretty decent. He's just got to follow up. So we'll go from there. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. New business.
Okay, I'm just gonna
Anybody?
bring one up real quick because I'm
Oh,
gonna be.
you're.
Oh, yeah, because I'm gonna be bringing this. I'll be bringing this back probably next month. But we have a cell phone tower that's being proposed out in the eastern part of the county, and they're considering a categorical exemption because there's an old infrastructure that was put in almost 50 years ago, and so that didn't go through. It was put in months before CEQA was implemented. So we're worried about it because they're trying to use the categorical exemption to get around CEQA of the feasibility study. The land has changed out there, the road structure has changed, and but I'll bring that back. One other thing is we did get a list of the PG&E updates of what's going on in East Region area. If anybody wants to come and talk to me after, I can tell you what's going on in your area. If anybody needs contact information for the PG&E Senior Outreach Specialist to talk about easement concerns, work that's going on, road, traffic control, I have the person's contact. You reach out to her and she'll let you know, because easements are they're parcel specific. Easements change. It's not like a county road. So she has to know a specific address to know what the easements are. So if anybody wants to come and get her information from me after, I'll have it for you. And that's all I have. Go ahead.
Anybody else?
No.
Speaking of PG&E, that's one thing I forgot to mention is that I went to, there's a monthly meeting that RCRC, Rural County Representatives of California, has with PG&E. And as I went to that meeting, discussing a couple things, one being the down trees that are, the materials being left, and some of the work that the contractors are doing is, is way below standard and insensitive to the people that live in Lake County. They need to do a better job. So, of course, repounding that drum, if you will. And then I also mentioned to them that I've been getting a lot of complaints from seniors who are having issues, seniors, disabled, and veterans, disabled veterans as well, that are having issues with their bills. They get on that AMT payment plan, and then for some reasons, PG&E will make some issue or say you didn't pay it, and they did, and then like a couple of people called and said they got turned off, and then found out that they did pay it. So it's like, but had to still go through time without power. His name was Costa that was there. I told him about it again, and I caught him afterwards, and he says, get me a list of people. So if you know anybody that has that issue from here, please get me their names. I've already submitted at least 20 names to them. I mean, it's unfortunate, and it shouldn't be happening. Some of these folks need their power for, their breathing machines or, their oxygen, anything like that. So just wanted to make sure you knew that, and if you have any names or anything like that, get them to me so I can send them to them. Yes.
So, is that going to be open for everybody to go to, or is those closed meetings for PG&E?
The meeting that I have at RCRC?
Yeah.
That's in Sacramento with the supervisors that go to it.
Okay, so then that's good. Next time you go, or when you do it, you ask them who calls the 611 numbers before they do. Because we're having that problem with Spring Valley, as you know, with the water district and all that. Who is responsible for the water broken main, the mains being broken with the water, and who is responsible for paying for that? I was told by PG&E that they are not responsible for it because they were not mapped out, and then we got a special district saying that they are going to make them pay for it, but then also have an email from Jesse stating that we are, as a community, responsible for paying for that. So those are like good questions to be asked.
They are. Thank you for giving me that, because then I can get it at that level, because it's, I do. Just forward it to me. Yeah, I've got a lot of your forwarded information. Thank you for that. It's happening in Elk Mountain. It's happening, there's, yes, I had to go out there and visit someone.
No matter who you are, I don't care if you're PG&E, if you're the county, you're supposed to call 611, they come out and they map everything out for you.
Send me that.
Okay, the only other thing I've got to bring up, everybody remind you that next week is the Catfish Derby in the Oaks, and the traffic's going to be a little heavy starting Thursday. So, going to be a lot of boats coming in and out. Just want to bring everybody up on that. So.
I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Whether they're people or animals that you have.
I'll be weighing fish that Saturday, I think.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Marcus from Code Enforcement for coming. I want it on the record that they have been doing a lot of stuff in the Oaks. So thank you for listening to me complain last month, and thank you for bringing him on. Now, my next complaint. Animal control. Can you see if you could get someone up here from animal control? There's a lot of loose dogs running around, and they're attacking people, kids. So when you call animal control, they will not respond. So if you could get animal control up here next time, I'll quit complaining. Not.
Thank you.
Okay. Next meeting is Wednesday, June the 4th, 2025. Thank you all for coming. And send all your complaints to Holly.
she just.
All right,
says,
check,
"Oh,
check, go ahead.
Okay,
I can hear something now.
Whoa, 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 okay.
It's really, really distorted.
Anybody says to me, but on different people.
Yeah, I'm not getting your
So
audio.
the only thing we have right now is, public
You hear me fine, I see that, but I am not getting your audio.
Well, then I think,
Why not?
whatever happened to Sarah Ryan? We never got her in here.
Yeah,
right,
we had
turn
not
this
gotten
up,
her in
yeah.
because I was kind
Check,
of
check,
thinking
check.
maybe
Hello,
we could
hello.
do some sort of thing with Sarah Ryan and.
Check, check, check. Hello, hello.
There's some Blue Ribbon Committee stuff that's going on here in this part of the lake. So
I can
kinda
hear
wanted
you
to talk to
good.
them and see if we could do
Good.
a joint thing.
But you can't
maybe
hear
with
me.
Water resources, so just get them all together at one time. So I'll
Check,
see
check,
about that.
check it out. Check, check.
And then, of course,
Check
animal
it
control
out.
now, we've got requests for that one, so, which is,
See, now Denise had always said she only wanted one.
It's the bird eye view of the meadow. Look at the many people that I meet with the hello. How do you do, my
Right,
Padre?
you
What
know,
up, Kwame? Back to
Check,
the meadow,
check.
so I can show I'm a smooth young brother that is gifted. If you try to lift this, then you gotta
depends on what type
witness.
of
Nickname the
presentation,
emperor.
how
This was a
pressing the
temple.
information is.
Yeah.
Some can just be an
Check, check,
informational
checkity, check,
type
check.
thing. So I don't, yeah.
All right, I'll see about water resources. Some
Check,
sort of
check,
thing.
check, check, check.
I'll get in contact with the Blue Ribbon Committee. See, they're doing that pipeline to put aerate around Rattlesnake Island in order to get rid of the
Hear you anymore now.
bacteria. And Jim just.
Yeah, I can see you talking to me, but I can't hear you. Strange. Check, check.
Oh, okay.
The internet.
Okay,
also
now you
kinda
can't hear
sucks,
me.
so-
All
Can
right,
you hear
so
me?
when does the chair
Thumbs up if you can hear me.
effect?
Okay, it's this USB thing.
He's like, I'm done. He doesn't-
Hello.
Well, we had in the bylaws it goes for 1 year.
Okay.
And what we had talked about was possibly rotate, everybody just kind of rotated. That's why we thought Jim
Maybe
could
stop
do it.
screaming.
All right.
But the internet does better.
No, so when I unplug the USB, I can hear you. Now, when I go USB-C into the thing, you can't hear me. Very
Yeah,
strange.
you're coming in very distorted.
So hold on, I'm going to unplug so I can hear you.
Yes, but you're coming through the laptop.
Okay, I gotta talk to EJ.
I need to talk to him.
Okay, how about now? Now I must be coming in clear now because we're back in to the USB. We're back into the USB. It's weird, when I plug the USB in,
Check now.
I can't hear you at all.
Check it out. I think nothing's working, is it?
I'll go wait for him.
Nothing is working.
Yeah, I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear
So at
me.
least it's not my problem.
Check, check, check.
Nothing is
Nothing. No.
working.
Hello, hello,
For
hello.
you.
Check, check, check. Oh, this is so frustrating. You can't hear me now? Oh, I see. There's no audio.
Hello, hello. Not hearing you. You don't
Check,
seem to
check,
be
check,
hearing
check,
me.
check, 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 check. Oh, it's this stupid switch. Check. Okay.
It's really distorted. I'm willing to bet it's the
Check,
internet.
check, check. Okay. Can you hear me barely? Yeah, now you can hear me. Okay. All right. It's this.
I can hear you, yes.
I can't hear you. It's got to be this E.R.T.H thing. So hold on. Let me swap that out real quick.
I don't know what you said.
Hold on.
Well, they keep saying it's improving.
Alright, so this is the one so he can hear me. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Okay. All right, you go ahead. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now, right? Check, 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 check. Check, check. Come on. Damn it. Check, 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 check. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No. God bless America. Come on. Check, 1, 2.
I'm not hearing anything. Check.
Let's try this. Come on.
I haven't heard you in a while.
Okay, check, 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 check. Anything? Nothing? Thumbs up for yes?
There you
I
are.
have meters, I don't understand.
Check, I can hear you.
Check, 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 check. 1, 2.
Check.
Check. 1, 2.
I can hear you.
Check. 1, 2.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to unplug so I can hear you. Check. 1, 2. Check. Check. 1, 2.
Check. Check. Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
Listen to me. Hear my words.
All right, can you hear me? Check 1, 2. Can you hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up. No, nothing. God bless America.
Check. You can hear this. It works.
Okay, this is weird.
If you can't hear it, you don't know if it doesn't work.
Check 1, 2.
Check it out. All right, I think I'm gonna let you go and give you a quick call.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's just now it's not working at all again.
I mean, I don't know what the internet is doing, but you're very, I don't know if it's your connection, I don't know if it's the internet, but I'm getting very bad sound coming from you.
Bad sound, so before the first year when it was on the Zoom, the sound was really good.
One side left?
Yeah, she said the sound was really good, and she could hear, and but we don't know. Okay, I'm going to order first of all new cables. And are you still on? Okay, you are still on. Okay, hold on. Plug this in again.
Check, check, 1, 2, and now I have no audio. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Okay, I just got to order new cables. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna order a new cable. Yeah, or go back to that, and then I don't know. Is it a connection in the damn computer? I don't know what's going on. Okay, well I'll figure it out. Okay, well I'll figure it out with your help, huh?
Excellent, thanks, sir.
Well, yeah,